Allen Iverson statue. It is a new statue being put up in Philadelphia, and in true Philly style, it's hideous. No, I'm not gonna say it's hideous. Let me take that back. Let me take that back. Yo, what's good? It's your boy VA. That's AJ, and this is the HR Podcast.
Yes, sir. It's the HR Podcast.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Yeah, you already know. Ding, 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 ding. So, yeah, first thing we gonna do, like we always do, is get right to it with that Contender segment.
Bling, bling, bling.
And first topic, AJ, we got for today is going to be the NBA playoffs 2024. Standings just got updated. Literally the last game was played today. We swiping left to right on this one, AJ.
Right, all the time on that one, bro.
We got to. So the official standings, let me go ahead and get that pulled up because I was just looking at that a second ago. All right, so in the Western Conference, we got OKC at the number 1 seed, which crazy turnaround this year. We got
well done.
Right. Silent clap for that one. Second seed is going to be Denver Nuggets, which man, great job. We expected that though.
They were up there.
Third seed is going to be Minnesota Timberwolves. Fourth seed the Clippers. Fifth seed is Dallas. And sixth seed is the Suns. In the East, we got...
I just squeaked in.
Right, just squeaked in. Should have been New Orleans, but hey, hats off to them. Eastern Conference, we got Boston, number 1, of course. Number 2 seed, sneaky number 2 is New York, man. Hats off to Jalen Brunson on that one.
Yeah, he did it.
Third seed is going to be the Bucks. Fourth seed is going to be the Cavs. And fifth is going to be the Orlando Magic. And last but not least is the Pacers at 6th. We're going to start off there, and then we get into the play-in.
That's cool.
As far as the number 1 seed, well, actually, since we don't know, we're gonna stick with the number 1 seed and their possible play-in of. Actually, man, it's so crazy with the play-in. It could be anybody. So I'm just gonna skip them for now. We're gonna go straight to the matchup for 3-6, which is gonna be the Timberwolves and the Phoenix Suns, which is, man, I don't know about you, but I'm ready for that one. Like, I think that is a great matchup. Same with the 4-5 matchup at Clippers and Mavericks. I think those are the 2 best first-round matchups I've seen in a hot minute. And I think, at least in the West, it's just an amazing matchup for both sets of series. And as far as who I'm picking to come out the 4-5, you already know I got to represent Dallas Mavericks. They coming out of that one. I think Luka and Kyrie playing at an all-time high right now. Chemistry is off the charts. I feel like the team is really rolling. I feel like there's a couple things that needed to be fixed post-trade that have finally gelled, finally worked. I mean, I think they won 15 out of 17, not including these last 2 where they sat the players. They just been on a roll, and I think the Clippers have been on a steady decline. Now, they have picked it back up the past couple games since they got Westbrook back, which, I mean, who would have thought Westbrook playing would be the motivating factor for this team, because when he doesn't play, they just do not play the same.
He's an engine.
Right. Now, we are a little bit early for the annual Harden slump that he does in the playoffs. So I'm expecting him to to get at least 16 a game in this first matchup. So I think he'll be decent. It's just later on where he starts to fade. like that Gatorade commercial that Dame, is in. He don't show up in the fourth. So
he don't show up in the
right.
playoffs either.
And speaking of not showing up, where's Kawhi? He been out the past 4 or 5 games. I'm really not sure if he's gonna be right. I'm really not sure if he's gonna make it to this series. At least not the beginning. I'm praying he don't actually. Man. So but all praise to him getting better though, because I do want to see him, have a long career in the NBA. As far as the 3-6 seed, man, I really want to go with Phoenix. But it's just something about the Timberwolves, especially if they get Cat back, that I cannot overlook. They have the number 1 rated defense in the West. They are long. They are hard to score on, especially in the paint with Rudy Gobert with that stifle tower. It's just Ant-Man has been playing off the charts. I think they're hungry, really hungry this year. And I think Phoenix they just got too many cracks. Like they're just not consistent enough. So I'm honestly leaning towards the Timberwolves getting out this first series. So I think the 5 and the 3 seed is going to advance. What you thinking for that first round?
I mean, it's easy for me to say the Mavs on their matchup.
Right.
I can agree with everything you said. I also think the biggest pieces for them is going to be how they rotate Lively. That's his name, right?
Yeah. And he's been hurt too.
And Gafford. So we're going to see what they do because that's their length. Like when they do the matchups, they're going to have to buckle down.
Right.
And I think they can get it done.
Yeah.
Luka's going to get his. Kyrie's going to get his.
Yeah.
Hardaway, I think, is going to be shooting that thing. But the most important matchup to me is the other one that you talk about, the Suns versus the Wolves,
right?
Timberwolves. And it was either today or yesterday that they had a little bad blood between Beasley. I
didn't see it, but I heard about it.
And Ant-Man. And they was pushing, and I like what Ant-Man did, man, because nobody saw the Wolves in this spot. I mean, at least I didn't, that's for sure.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff going on with them. Cat is going to be back. He's been posting videos and stuff too. But I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, obviously you can't turn down KD and Book.
Right.
They're going to get their points. But I don't know if they have any support other than their big 3. And that's what's going to come down to it.
A couple players. So they got Jaden McDaniels on that team. They got Naz Reid, great backup. Probably one of the, if not the best.
Yeah, but he's with the Wolves though.
I know what I'm talking about. You talking about?
Oh, okay. No, yeah. I was talking about Phoenix. But yeah, Naz Reid's gonna get his buckets.
Yeah,
and he's been shooting that thing too. I think he got like one of the highest 3-point percentages in the league, like consistently for a while.
Yes.
And he D's up. Yeah. He's long. Like he's gonna get it in.
Yeah, I'm saying like they got matchup problems for Phoenix. They don't have no depth.
I want to say the Wolves are gonna pull it out on Phoenix. And I would like to see that.
I would like to see that too.
But the one thing I can say is the winner of that one is going to prevail when it comes to long-term contracts and where they're going to go at with the team. Because if it don't work with the big 3 with Booker, Beal, and KD, they're going to have to switch something up. And if it don't work with Cat, Ant-Man, and Gobert, they've been doing this for a long time. So it's like, hey, y'all going to have to do something too. That's what I feel.
No, I think that's very valid as far as like whoever loses this series got some serious questions to be answered on both sides.
And it can't be a coaching decision because they done got the players, they got the firepower.
Right.
So that's interesting to me. Moving along though to the top 3 seeds on both of them, the West and the East. OKC, Denver, the Timberwolves, it literally just came down to today to who was going to get that number 1 seed. And it had been a close little...
Talk about Boston, right?
I don't even know what you call it. No, I'm talking about the West.
Oh, yeah.
The top
OKC.
3 teams, OKC, Denver, and Timberwolves, they all were right there within a game's reach of each other.
Yeah,
like
bro.
a half a game's
all
reach
of
of each
them.
other.
It was crazy. You didn't know who was going to get
so
that
they
number
deserve
1.
it. And all the other lower seed teams, they're gonna be playing some really good teams, bro. So on the other end, though, the East, the Celtics, the Knicks, the Bucks are the top 3 seeds. The Celtics been falling off. The Bucks been declining like crazy. The Knicks are the only ones steadily, holding it down repeatedly, like without question. And they're fun to watch, man, because you can see the effort they're giving on the court.
Right.
And like all of their players, like you see they're trying to make Madison Square Garden like shine bright. So I don't know what you got to say on that one.
Man, honestly, when it comes to the East, it seems like it's a little. I won't say it's up in the air because I still feel like Boston has the command of it. I just feel like towards the end of the season, they were just so far ahead that it's easy to get distracted. It's like, come on, playoffs, like, let's just go ahead and get there. I feel like they have a lot of pressure, too. So, like, I think they're just, like I said, they're just antsy. They're ready to get to the playoffs. So I think they'll be fine, especially in the first round. First 2 rounds, they should be fine. I'm more worried about the Knicks in that 2-seed spot. Because if they don't get all their players back, how are they gonna handle a healthy Joel? Like they could, I'm almost certain that Philly's gonna win that play-in spot against the Heat. I just don't see the Heat being able. Jimmy Butler has not turned it on like he should. I don't think they're gonna make it out to play-in the Heat. I think they're gonna lose that game. I think they're gonna also lose the game against because I think they're AC, so they get a second chance. So they'll lose probably to the Bulls. I think the Bulls will probably advance past the Hawks. But ain't no telling. Like, Miami is such an up and down team, man. Like, they could turn it on at any moment. But it's just been rough for them. But as far as the Knicks, like, them getting the Philly in the first round, bro, I feel like, honestly, bro, I feel like the Bucks was tanking to get that 3 spot, to get that 3-6 spot against the Pacers. Because nobody want to see Philly in the first round. Like, not even, especially not the Bucks with Giannis slightly hurt, bro. They would do nothing with Joel. He would get 50 every night. If
they better be tanking on purpose because they've been looking pathetic recently, especially since homeboy started coaching over there, Doc Rivers. And so they can't throw that on the coach because Dame has nowhere been found in the playoffs in the history of his playoff career. So that's what I'm looking to see.
I always remember Dame for that shot he called against Paul George.
And but that was in the playoffs early rounds. But that was early rounds.
That was the year they went to the Western Conference Finals. Remember, he took them to the finals that one year.
I don't think he went to a finals. It might have been the game before.
They've been to the Western Conference Finals.
Even if he did.
But that was back.
Even if he was in
Portland, yeah.
Even if he did. Like, don't get me wrong, we all remember those shots, right? Because those are, like, iconic. I'll give him that. He has that game-winning shot potential because he's consistent on it for the most part. But the last few times that he's tried to put up a game winner, he got blocked twice. And then I guess it went into overtime the second time, and they ended up losing. But it is what it is. Right. We'll see if it's dang time.
Yeah, definitely. So, going back to those top 2 seeds in the West, we got the play-in of the 9 and 10, which is going to be Sacramento, which, man, if I feel like they've had the biggest letdown of the season, especially since losing Malik Monk. Like, he was a spark that they cannot replace, bro, and they are been burnt out ever since he has been hurt. Them going to get.
They're still good though.
Oh no doubt. But they've been losing games they should have won, and they just keep dropping and dropping, bro. Like they were there with the Mavericks. They were either going to be a 5 or 6 seed, and now they're 9. But I mean, again, the West, like you said, West is very very close. But this is the time when you need to be in momentum and rhythm to get a good playoff run. And again, it seems like they may lose to the Golden State and not even make the playoffs again, bro. Like, Golden State is in the rhythm right now. They look good. And I mean, they lost a game they shouldn't have, which was oh my God. Who lost to the San Antonio Spurs? Oh, the Nuggets. That was crazy.
Yeah.
That was crazy, bro. But I see Golden State getting out of that play-in for the 9-10.
Oh, man.
And making it to the next round against the Lakers, who, I mean, I want to say I'm going to say the Lakers because I feel like New Orleans going to beat them that first round, and New Orleans will play Nuggets in that 2 seed, which I think that's going to be a blessing for the Lakers in disguise. because no one wants to see Denver in the first round except for the Pelicans, who don't know no better. So they're like, whatever, we'll take whoever. Because they should have been a 6th seed. That sucks for them. I feel bad for them. I really wanted to see.
It makes me frustrated just thinking about their path to the play-in. But
right, bro.
Here we are again.
I really wanted Phoenix to play the Nuggets first round. That would have been so nice. But either way, I'm feeling the Timberwolves against them too, so I ain't tripping. But I feel like Lakers coming out of it are gonna be losing, so they're gonna be playing Golden State to get into the playoffs. And I mean, unfortunately, man, I just don't see them beating Golden State. They have not had great luck with them, and I don't know about AD's health, so I'm kind of. And he's been so healthy all year, bro. Like, this is such a like black cat type situation.
But I want to say LA, the Lakers have had the Warriors number throughout the season. But I also will say that I think they've been saving some for the tank, knowing that they were going to be in the play-in. Right. They did it last year, right? And they went all the way to the Western Conference Finals. I'm not a big believer in the Warriors, even though I know if they get hot like the other night, they shot like some ridiculous amount of threes and were like 70% from three for like 3/4 of the game. I'm a Draymond hater. I don't think they're going to make it.
I want that to be the case. I do
think that you're right, though, about the Lakers possibly losing to the Pels on purpose.
Right.
Well, quote unquote, just so they can get a better matchup.
I feel like what they'll end up doing is having AD be listed as questionable, in doubt, and or doubtful, and then he just won't play. He'll be like a last minute scratch, and then it's like you can't blame nobody because no one expects you to win that game without AD.
Well, you can, because you can blame AD because he's been sitting out for years. They call him plain clothes.
Bro, this year you can't, bro. He's played like 70-something games.
You can't do that anytime in the playoffs, man. But he's just frail.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like he'll be able to play, but they just gonna keep him. Oh, yeah. They're gonna sit him.
Oh, I know. He's rested.
Right. So that he can, it's an excuse now. He got a slight, whatever.
I get the logic behind it. I can't see that happening in the NBA still now.
Bro,
one thing I can tell you though is whoever came up with this play-in scenario, which was Adam Silver's finalization on it, it's here to stay, man.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, bro. And it's fun.
I like it.
It's making things a lot fun.
I was one of those people that was like, what is this? Why are we doing this, bro?
Yeah, I was too.
Old man syndrome right there, because that actually it's made it so much interesting this first round, and I think it's good too because we also get to give the players like a week off for people that actually made the playoffs. They need that.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say. I mean that's extra games, and when you're coming into the end of the run, like when the Lakers is facing Denver last year. I mean, I'm not using that as an excuse, but that's what 2 more games than what they had to play. So they still got swept.
Exactly, and then. In the final section of this first contender segment is going to be the play-in for the Eastern Conference. I like I said earlier, I kind of touched on it. I got the Bulls coming out of that first game with the Hawks. I just don't have no faith in the Hawks right now, especially with Trae Young back in the lineup. I feel like they're worse off. And I mean, but at the same time, like the playoffs is where Trae Young has made his bread and butter. So I wouldn't put it past them because I do like DeJounte Murray, but I just feel like the Bulls, I don't, even me picking the Bulls, I'm such like in doubt.
Nah, that's a regretful statement.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm just like, there's nothing about.
I see the Hawks taking it on the Bulls.
There's nothing about the Bulls that excites me this year at all, but I cannot have faith in the Hawks, bro. Like they have, Luka put 73 on them, bro.
Oh my God.
For a reason. I feel like that Chicago has better defense, and I feel like they can pull off.
And when you say stuff like that too, it makes me want the NBA to make an additional change in the years to come, because if the East keeps being so weak,
right,
they should just take the top 16 teams and like just put it a record.
That's like the one thing I see. Like they need the ball from the WNBA because it works.
Yeah, man. Well, it gives the people that have been playing better, more of a chance, and there's better, I guess, matchups when it comes to that.
Right.
We can already tell you what's coming out of the East. We can't tell you what's happening in the West.
There's no idea. But I think at the same time, there's just so much heritage and lineage, where it's like, how would you do that there? Because the East and the West, like winning the East.
It's a lot of travel time.
It's a lot, and then it's just like, I feel like you're knocking out some of the good people early, doing it that way.
Yeah. That is possible.
For ratings purposes, it's like you kind of want to keep the conferences separate, so that way you have that big boom at the end, but hopefully the best team. But
yeah, it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, because the problem with it is when you get like a team like Miami that gets hot in the playoffs, but they really had no business going to the finals in the first place. And then
I think the Miami might give the Sixers a good run, man, especially because Joel, he came back. He was limping on that leg.
You really can't call Miami out ever, bro. Like, you just can't.
That's true.
Like,
that's true. I think that one's going to be a pivotal matchup, though, for that matchup to make a deeper run than what people are expecting.
And the fact that Philly, didn't re-sign Butler, I think that gives him extra motivation to go out and ball this first play-in game.
He better start wearing out his hairdos and play some ball.
But honestly, bro, I want that to happen. Like, wouldn't it be great seeing Miami win that first game against Philly, and then Philly having to go and play the second game in the play-in, and then end up getting Boston, bro? Philly-Boston first round. That would be epic.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess it is more of something that we're looking forward to. We just kind of downplaying it because it is the East.
Right. Because everybody downplay it, though. So on to the next one. Next topic we got on the Contender segment is going to be Shohei Ohtani. His interpreter actually pleads guilty. Pleads guilty to fraud. Well, I guess in this case, it was a situation of gambling on the behalf of his player, or I guess the better term would be if his employer, because he hired the interpreter for purposes for contract purposes, things like that. At the end of the day, bro, like you making all this money, you need to learn English, bro. There ain't no way you need to have no interpreter, bro. You do not need it.
You can't trust nobody,
bro. It's like Ray Charles back in the day whenever he was getting paid in dollars and they said it was fives. Nah, bro, you need to learn English. No shade to him, though, but we swiping left or right on this one.
I mean, you pretty much summed it up, man. That's shady. He pled guilty. I mean, he's gonna do some time because that was a lot of money taken. But we're gonna swipe left on him.
Right. All right, on to the next one. We got Allen Iverson statue. It is a new statue being put up in Philadelphia, and in true Philly style, it's hideous. I'm not gonna say it's hideous. Let me take that back. In true Philly style, I feel like the statue is it's very stereotypical, to say the least. And I can't even tell if he got a do-rag on or if he just got braids. We swiping left or right on this one, AJ?
Well, we are swiping right.
Okay.
What are you doing, Philadelphia? I'm gonna take this one first.
Yes, please.
You know what? Maybe I've been spoiled as a Lakers fan, right? They got all kinds of statues out there. They're memorializing these players. I don't want to say idolizing, right? But it pretty much is that. But they're putting them up there to be seen forever, right? They're statues. And in LA, these things are huge, right? Like, these things are almost life-size. I don't want to say life-size, but they're a good size. Allen Iverson, man, he got crossed over by the Philadelphia 76ers, bro, by his own statue. This thing is tiny, bro. I actually seen a meme today, and I don't even have social media, and I seen a meme today that the actual inspiration for the statue was Bow Wow and Like Mike.
Bro,
It was so
hold
little.
on. But bro, you know that's not like the real statue, right?
The little one?
That's not the real one. No, that's like
Where
that's the interpretation of what it's going to be. It's going to be bigger than that.
still, you got to do better. I don't care if it's the real
That's
one
how
or
they
not.
do it. Like they unveil a small one first, like
Yeah,
they did
and then
it
they
for
put
dirt.
the real deal.
Then they put the real deal one out there. Yeah,
But still, though,
it still looks like it's going to
they
be
might as
too
well
small
just did
though.
a
It still looks small.
bobblehead.
I mean, it does look small. Even like when they make it the right size, it's like it's going to be small. But so is Allen Iverson though. Like he's small. Like
Bruh.
I mean,
I guess, but you know when that was the whole point of his career.
It
Like
did
he's
look
this
like
small dude
like
playing
Mike.
like a beast and a monster, you know.
Right,
And it's
right.
like, if that's the case, like don't set it outside and like do this thing. Like do it indoors and be like, you know, put not to scale, or objects seem further than they appear, or something in like that. Because, dude, I don't know what was going on.
I didn't see no jersey on him either. Did he even have a jersey on? Like an actual number? I didn't see no numbers.
It
Like,
looked
no-
more like an and one mixtape type of deal. You know,
Yeah,
like the dude
it
in
did.
and one where he's just like sitting there like that. I mean, it is Allen Iverson. It was gonna be a crossover that they were gonna
Right.
do.
It was gonna be one. It had to
But
be.
you're right. It is hard to determine whether he got a do-rag on, where he got braids, a headband, a jersey.
Right.
Maybe because it was so small, right? We couldn't
Right.
see those details. But still, you gotta do better, Philly.
Yeah. Again, in true Philly fashion, it was just a hot mess.
I actually am waiting to hear like Charles Barkley or somebody come from Philly
Right.
like, talk about it. What are their 2 cents on it? But I'm sure it's coming.
It got to. The next TNT broadcast when during the play in, we would definitely get some commentary.
True.
We got to. On to the next one. OJ Simpson has sadly passed away. This was an iconic football player and actor who was literally a psychopath. And that's not even going into whether he did it or not. That's just his own actions outside of that made him a psychopath.
Yeah.
You swiping left to right on this, AJ.
I mean, anytime someone passes away, I want to give the most respect I can, right? For whoever is involved with family and all that. But we swiping left. He's kind of was before our time.
He was for legit before our time. Legit.
It is what it is. We're not going to get into details of whether he did it or not, but I mean, dang.
That man was crazy. All I can say.
But on to the left.
I think he might have had CTE too.
He had something.
Yeah, something, bro. And it's crazy. Before we go into him, I didn't even know nothing about him until I started watching the Naked Gun movies, that whole franchise. Like, I remember going to the drive-ins with my mom, and that was one of the movies. And he just was sitting there. He was always getting. It was like they was picking on him because he was always getting blown up, shot up. It was just hilarious. And that's how I found out about him. I didn't know nothing about his career. I was like, when I actually found out he was a football player, I was like, what? And he was actually a really good one, like a Heisman Trophy winner. I was like, for real? This little goofy dude? Like, what?
All I remember is like literally the scenes of the Bronco being like running away from police. Like that's all I remember.
Right.
But I can tell you that it came to light again, right, with all the documents and or documentaries for like Netflix and all them shows. But left.
Right. Yeah, for real. On to the next. We got Ben McLemore. I'm pretty sure that's not how you say his name. Is it McLemore? Or is it definitely cannot be McLemore. What is it? I feel like that's wrong.
No, it's not Ben McLemore. It's Ben
I think it is. Is it McLemore? Bruh.
I gotta go back and look on it, man. Hold on.
I'm looking up like, huh? I'm
Hold
like,
on.
nah.
I gotta do this, so we got to take this out.
I feel like it is McLemore, bro.
It's not McLemore, but yeah, it looks almost identical. Shoot, here we go. It is Ben McLemore.
Okay. I knew I wasn't tripping.
Yeah, it is Ben
I think
McLemore.
it is. I think, but the way I spelled it on here, I'm just like, that don't look right.
Yeah, I think it was the. Yeah, I know what you was going with it because I was thinking as soon as you said it.
Right. I was like, I know I didn't just write the singer, the rapper McLemore on here tripping. All right. So back to that. Ben McLemore arrested for sexual assault. Ben was a former, I think, KU star, had a very promising college career. Never really panned out in the NBA. He had a couple stints that he looked like he could, be good, even with the Lakers.
Yeah.
But just never really stuck anywhere. This is pretty sad news to hear about. Swiping left or right on this, AJ.
I mean, there are charges, right? He's innocent until proven guilty. You're right about his stance. Coming out of college, I thought he was going to be great.
Right.
But his first couple seasons in the NBA, I watched him, and it looked like, I hate to say it, but he kind of took the thuggish, ruggish bone route. And it was like, bro, what are you doing? You're here to play ball.
It's the thuggish, ruggish bone.
Yeah, shout out to that. But anyway, I'm going to have to say let's swipe left. It is sad to hear. There's like multiple charges too, so.
Yeah.
And we've heard it all, right? The whole false accusations and everything.
Right.
But nowadays, things are harder to get away with because there's receipts and video evidence and everything out there. But we're swiping left.
Right. Facts. All right. On to the last topic of the segment. We have the NCAA Tournament winners.
Yes.
Women and men. Swiping left or right on this, AJ?
Oh, we swiping right.
All right, bet. Let's get into it. I'm excited to go over this one. So I'm going to start with the women's side because to me that was the more historic side. Women's...
It's debatable.
Well, yeah, definitely debatable, but that's why I'm leaning. We had an amazing career from the coach of the year, Dawn Staley. Her in South Carolina went undefeated. I think 36-0 or 38-0. Amazing season. Stellar players. Discipline that you just saw in every moment of the game.
And respect.
Right. And seeing them come back after losing to Iowa last year in the Final Four, and the same player that was guarding Caitlin Clark come back and be victorious against her in the title game, I think that was just a storybook ending for that program. It being her third championship, I think it means the most to her too. Puts her in an elite club. I think of only 5 women who have ever done that. I think,
or in men's.
Right, or men's. I think in general, it's like maybe like 10 or less. It's just a phenomenal career that I feel like it still has so much more to go. Like they're going to be good for at least the next 10 years. I feel like this is the next UConn. And I would love to see her pass Gino. Now, will it happen? I don't think so. Like that took a long time to do. And I'm talking back to Diana Taurasi days. Like
even
it took
before that.
Right, even before that. It took a long time to get there. And so I don't think she'll catch him, but I think she's going to be probably the second most winningest women's coach. Second most winningest as far as titles coach in the NCAA history, and the most for women. I think, but the most is 7 or 8 for a woman.
And not with
who?
Gino.
Pat Summitt. Pat Summitt. I think she has. Yeah, I think she got like 7. So I think she might be able to catch her. That's gonna be hard though, but I think she may be able to.
My bad. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna round it out by saying finish it off with Iowa. Iowa, I feel like Caitlin did all she could do in her career. Obviously, she got all the records, bro. Got the NCAA tournament records now for most points scored. I don't think she needed that, even though some people said she needed it to be in the GOAT conversation. I don't feel like she needed it because she carried that squad, bro, for 4 years. She did what nobody thought she ever could, and I'm extremely excited for her WNBA career. I'm really excited for her, and I feel like she's going to carry the torch further for the women's basketball game as a general now.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm gonna start with the girls too, and I'm gonna say that clearly overall the better team was South Carolina.
Right.
Like they were able to do things as a team and literally just kind of hold Iowa at bay. Like they just were underneath him from the very beginning. Like I think maybe the first quarter or two was like, all right, maybe this might be a game, and then it just
Right.
started
Caitlin had like 18 points, bro, out of nowhere. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And then they
But
just
at the end of the
second
day,
half.
the whole team thing was just like,
Yes,
they're
bro.
just better, you know.
They're just better.
It's gonna be interesting to see, right? Because when you look at those aspects, like South Carolina is here to stay, like as a program.
Oh yeah.
Like Iowa, on the other hand, like they're gonna be lucky to be in the tournament next year if they are. Because they're pretty much
100%.
done. You know, they were all the coattails of Caitlin. So,
Bro, them getting Caitlin was like when Davis had got Steph. Like it was
That's
like
equivalent,
it was like a crapshoot. Like no one expected this.
that's true. And like you said, right, they're both gonna. When I say Caitlin's gonna do just fine in the NBA. I hope her transition is smooth. It might not be, but
I think she's
going
to change the game because there's no way that the Indiana Fever can play the way they've been playing with a player like that. Like you have to change it up, bro. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you're gonna get flamed. Like they're just gonna be like, this is what's wrong with the game now. They don't want to change it up for these players.
Yeah, but Dawn and her team, man, like they did a good job. Like we knew they would. They went undefeated. That's another task that's very few people have done.
Right. I think only UConn.
And they're set up again for next year. You know, like I would
Yes,
say
they
this. I will say that with the transfer portal and everything moving, coaches have been dipping out. The
Haley Van Lith already
old
in
heads.
the transfer portal.
the old heads of coaching. You know, Coach K, Saban, all the greats. Right, they're taking off after this transfer portal starts up. But I will say that I think Don is the Dion before Dion, and I don't think we're just recognizing that. But they are winning, so that's the whole difference there. It's gonna be interesting to see jumping into the men's, because that's why I say it's debatable. Back-to-back championships for them.
Bruh.
That's a big deal. No one thought they were gonna do it the first year. Very few people thought they were gonna do it this year until the tournament started. But that's when you start looking at individual players and like, oh, these people are going to be able to carry it. I thought Houston was going to win. I had them on my bracket winning it all.
Who didn't think that? They look
And
dominant.
it's a shame because their PG got hurt.
Yeah.
But it's funny to say that I think they were the first back-to-back team. Don't quote me on this, but I think it was Florida, like back to like Joakim days. If not,
yeah, it is. It is them. No, it's the first back-to-back since Florida.
and it hasn't been, I think, but a few times where there's been back-to-back champions.
And they're saying this one's better
in our
because-
modern time.
Right, they're saying this one's better because the one in Florida, they had basically the same team both years. This had like almost a whole new starting five. Like, it was crazy.
Well, they had some returners, but I know what
No,
you
they
mean.
did.
Like,
But they lost a lot of people, like a lot of people.
yeah, and they got new people, so
That
good for
transfer
them.
portal worked for them, bro. That's what it's about now.
Yeah, it is. It's a whole new game changer. It was kind of cool too, seeing like Ray Allen, Rip Hamilton, some of the people coming back from UConn, like supporting the team, you know, so that was cool too. But hats off to them because I counted them out. But they pulled through and they got 2 chips back to back. That's a feat.
Facts. On to the men's. For me, I would say, I mean, I liked the game. I thought it was a great like final game as far as the championship game. And I think it was impactful them winning back to back. At the same time, like, how many players could you name on the UConn squad?
Like 2. And that's still now to this day.
I could name 0, bro. Only person on the whole title, out of the whole title game for the men's that I can name was the center, Zach Edey. That's the only person I knew, bro. And I mean, I'm not gonna say I follow men's like I follow women's, but I followed it enough to where I knew teams that were good, like like Houston, and I knew Purdue was good. But like, bro, it was to a point where I only knew in the Final Four, the only two people I knew was Zach Edey and that Burns guy because he got hot in the tournament. It was like that's all I knew, bro. So like that's for me why I felt like it was such a lackluster compared to the women's because the name recognition, like it could not compare, bro. Angel Reese and even the coaches, bro. I mean, who doesn't know the coach for UConn? But like, do you know the coach for Purdue? Have you heard of that person?
No, I mean,
no.
Not enough for me to remember it, right?
Exactly, bro.
But you're right, though. I actually heard somebody say something about that, and I forgot. It was some podcast, but it was just like cliff notes of the podcast, and they were saying that majority of the people don't know the men's players, but they can tell you 5 female NCAA players off the top of their head.
Exactly,
and
off the top of their head.
That's something that's good for their game.
Yeah.
And it's also a slippery slope, man, because the way I see it is with the NIL deals and people making their name and likeness money. I mean, not to get into a whole nother debate, right? But women are wanting their share of their money or whatever. And this season, based off name and likeness, like they were way up there higher than the guys. So it's going to be interesting to see like this equal pay of sports and stuff. To see how close it gets based off of the name and likeness and the name recognition, like you said.
Right. Facts. All right, and that is the end of my segment, AJ.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yes, sir. On to functioning org.
Yes, sir. So you already know how to start, VA. I'm going to jump straight into it. First thing that comes to mind when you hear the MVP for the NBA.
First thing that comes to mind, I would say, man, I don't know. The first, like literally, the first word is played out, and I'm not gonna say. And when I say played out, it's not meaning like I don't think the award is not important. I think it's as important as it's ever been. But I say it's played out as in the criteria is not really being put into the conversation like it should be as far as the metrics that each player has to get. Like I don't know what metric makes you an MVP. Like I feel like when these voters go to vote, they don't take into consideration what these players have on their team, what they have to work with. I don't think they take into consideration the errors that they're playing in. Like, you can't tell me Luka is not an MVP, but Joker is, based on what Joker has to play with. Like, he has. I mean, I'm not comparing apples to oranges because there is a Kyrie playing with Luka, so I understand that. But, bro, he got Jamal Murray, younger sniper killer. You got Aaron Gordon, who's like a third all-star. I think that's the key player right there for them. And these are two-way players too. And then you have
Michael Porter Jr.
Like Michael Porter, I would say an amazing supporting cast with Michael Porter Jr., Chris Braun. Like you just have players.
Oh yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah, bro, you have players that are completely sold in, and the numbers, like you take Luka off the Mavericks team, bro. Like they're not making the play in. It's just not happening. And I feel like the Nuggets would be a playoff team without Joker. Now, would they be number 2, number 3 seed? Probably not. But I feel like without Joker, they would still be a playoff team, and that cannot be said for the Mavs.
That's a fair statement. Before I jump into mine, you say that Luka's the MVP?
I do. I think based on his numbers this year, based on where the Mavericks are seeded this year, he would be my vote for MVP.
Okay, that's fair. First word that comes to my mind when I hear NBA MVP is, I was going to say algorithm, but I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say uncertainty, because kind of what you said, right? But at the same time, my outlook on it is, if you have these people, the top players in the league, getting back-to-back MVPs, the media's putting certain criteria and people's names up there or whatever. Not even sure what the criteria is for the people that actually get a vote for the MVP.
Right.
But I think that's got to be reviewed. I personally think that, like, this top 75 player thing that they keep doing, and then it's going to be the top 100 or whatever, I think those people should be voting.
Right.
The people that have been in the league, see the changes in it, respect the players or don't respect the players.
I like that idea.
I see that Luka, right, he's been top tier since he's been in the league, and your arguments are valid. But you also have somebody in the same position with OKC and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's been carrying their team before all the picks, and he's been putting up numbers before all those picks. And yeah, he has a good supporting cast too, but they're all fresh meat.
Right.
To me, right, I feel like they've both been kind of battling with what they've been given and putting up numbers. Joker is very good. He got the MVP, not this last year, but the year before. But I feel like the media pushes certain people. Is he capable to get it? Oh yeah, definitely. Sure, he can. But there's also a couple other people that are like, literally, it's a toss-up. And that's why I think there's no criteria set. So when you say metrics, I was thinking like algorithm. Like there's nothing put together for like this is how we're gonna lay out the map for the MVP.
Right.
But I would definitely say it needs to be revisited. It's hard to think that certain people, like you mentioned earlier in the past, only got a certain amount of MVPs, and that's just crazy.
Right. Kobe, Shaq, LeBron should have more MVPs. Jordan,
yeah, and I think that says something more, right? Because those people are like 10 times better, right, than the Jokers, the Joel Embiids, and that's nothing against their game at all, right? Or the Giannis's, but still, they're not LeBron James, they're not Kobe Bryant, they're not Michael Jordan. And those things count when you talk about the greatest of all time.
Exactly.
If they really have something to say, like, nah, he's got this MVP thing down.
Right.
You know? But that's what I got for that, VA. Anything you follow up with that?
Nah, man. Yeah, I think you definitely nailed it on the end with it just there's no set criteria. I think there has to be certain. It's just the whole process is just too objective. I mean, it's too subjective. There's no real facts that people can have to lean into when making a vote. Same with any MVP award, like with the Josh Allen getting a vote last year. Like, come on, bro. Come on, bro.
He's a dookie, man. He's a dookie.
Bruh, I don't understand it. But yeah, no, I think, like I said, you topped it off good.
Well, for the next topic on functioning org, the first thing that comes to mind when you hear about the new NFL rules that are being implemented.
I think first word that's going to come to mind would be innovation. I think NFL is really making steps towards being. Well, I mean, they're already one of the premier leagues in the world, or at least in the United States. But I feel like they understand a good product and they know how to make it better, which I think NBA at times has had problems with that. Hence why they did the play-in now, which was a great addition. But sometimes the NBA can get stuck in their ways. And I think NFL has is getting better at like figuring out what fan engagement is going to help them play better and also be safer. Them adding this rule for kickoff is going to help with player safety, less concussions by a lot. Now, let me just get to the other one before I go back to that one. The other one, the big change they made was the change to the what was it that they changed?
Like the hip drop tackle?
Oh yeah, the hip drop tackle. Again, another player safety type rule that is really just, it needs to be thrown out. There's just been way too many injuries that have occurred from that. So I'm very happy to see that one out. Now with the first one, with that one being a situation where, again, player safety, but it's more of a, that one's going to be take a little bit time to gauge how that affects the game, I feel like, because...
Well, let me explain to you real quick, because I want to make sure that you're getting it. So when they kick off, right, they're lining up. The kicker is way further back than the line.
Right.
And so now the kicker, and they're taking this from, what is it, the XFL or Arena Football League, somewhere like that, and they're kicking it, but the team can't move from the line until the player catches it. So it puts it on a lot more one-on-one matchups down the field. So if the dude gets loose within the first 20, 30 yards, he's probably taking it home.
Right.
So I think it's going to be... I think it's going to be higher. I think there's going to be a lot more kick return yards. I don't know if they'll result in touchdowns or not, but I do know that that's what they're implementing.
Yeah, and I think with this rule, they're also going to be taking away like there's no more fair catch, which I think that's amazing. Because I think that was a big part of them not succeeding when it comes to that rule in general. Like when it comes to
I didn't even know about that one, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, like they literally cannot do fair catch anymore, which I mean it makes sense. Like it wouldn't, because they can't even run until you get the ball. So there's no reason to call fair catch.
Like, okay, I know what you're
right, exactly.
On kickoffs. Yeah.
Right, kickoff. Right. So no more fair catch, which I think that's gonna make it to where there's the person with the ball can actually run now. They're not sitting there with defenders in their face before they even catch the ball. Like it got to a point where it's like, all right, kick off. Like he may get to catch it, it may go out of bounds.
Well, they just down it in the end zone and take it.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Just down it, like it was nothing. Like but now like there's legit excitement every time they kick it off. Like, oh, he might return it. It might get great field position. Like I think but one negative I did hear about it, which makes sense, is that it's going to cut back on skill players. I listened to Shannon Sharp talk about it. I think on First Take, and he was talking about how like if this rule existed when he was playing, he would have never made the team, because you have players that come in that haven't established themselves yet. They just want to make the roster. You put them on the special teams. Now, not having the chance to run full speed at a player to make it, to tackle somebody, I think it's going to make it a situation where you're not going to be looking for, these big speed guys, or just, big guys that just can hit, like whatever. You can't just put them on there no more. You got to have people that are smarter when it comes to the IQ. You got to have routes. It's going to be more about scheme when it comes to tackling now versus just like outrunning the guy.
I guess that's fair. But what was your first thing that came to mind?
Yeah, I went on it. I thought I said something. Okay, maybe not.
I can't remember.
Well, first thing that came to mind when it came to the new rules. Yeah, I said innovative. Yeah.
Oh, my bad. You're right. You sure did. First thing that comes to mind with me is soft, man. For years, it seems like every year something comes out with the NFL, and I get it, right? Safety. Yeah. You want players to be longer lasting in the game, but they only target that for certain players like QBs. Now they're starting to focus on specialized, quicker players in certain positions like running backs, receivers, returners. So it's still soft because it takes away from what I guess was in the past. And that might be an old man answer, like stuck in the ways answer. But at the same time, like, these are how, when big rules change like this is how, I guess, like, records and stuff are broken and not broken. Because these people that were great at returning the ball, specifically for this like kickoff return, like, you can think of a handful of people that are like, as soon as they get the ball, they're gonna score. Like, once they get in the open field, they're gonna be they're gone. But then that lapsed for a few years. So if you think of someone like Deshaun Jackson, like, he did that, right? And then kind of fell off as a receiver after he got a little up there in age. But there was another guy, I forgot who he was. He was strictly just a kickoff returner, and he had the best, I guess, percentage of scoring touchdowns. I forgot what his name was. But it wasn't that long ago. It was in the last, like, 10 years. But
like
anyway.
Devin Hester.
There we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so when specifically for fantasy football, like, I wonder, is that going to be a position now? Because that's kind of like a big thing now. Are you going to be able to, or you're going to put a receiver at that position? Because, you know, what was his name from Dallas? He was a wide receiver, but he was the kick returner too. Yeah, there we go. So he might get more points just based off that, because
that's what I'm saying. Like, I exactly 100%. Like, that's gonna make a player like that actually have more chances to score and be exciting.
Oh, it's gonna be exciting. But now we come to the defensive type when they're doing the hip drop tackles. They already got away from the horse collar, which I think they should have. But the hip drop tackle, you know, it could probably mess up some Achilles or mess up some ankles. But I mean, what are you supposed to do if you're behind the player? Like, just trip them up?
Yeah, bro, it's gonna be
like
tough.
Just tap their foot. Like, what are you supposed to do?
That was the whole
as soon as they're in front of you or on the side of you, like, if you're not within arm's reach on the side, like, it's a wrap. Like, you're gonna get a flag,
bro. I mean, I feel like now you just have to go for the feet. Like, that's you just got to do that.
Something. You're gonna start seeing people, you know, they already have their hands wrapped, just no fingers. They ain't gonna be catching the ball. They're just gonna be out there, a couple of scoopers out there on the team, just ready playing deep, just to hit some feet. I'm exaggerating, but still, like, I've heard some people refer to it as, you know, flag football or touch, right? But I think it's soft, man. I do feel like a lot of the tackles, the defensive side has been taken away, and everything's rewarding the offensive player. Yeah. So how do you really help the defense once in a while, or do you? Because that's not how the league's trending.
Right. Facts.
That's all I got for that. On the last portion of functioning or VA, first thing that comes to mind when I say the Timberwolves are for sale.
I guess for me, it's just the Timberwolves in general. When I hear them, I think of it makes me think of like that movie, Life Can't Get Right. It's like all this potential, but he can't talk. Like I feel like that's the Timberwolves, bro. Like, they got all this potential. Like they've had athletes. I mean, in the past they've had really good teams. When they had back in the KG days, they finally got back to that place of it being good again, and even better than they were maybe at one point in time back in the day.
I'd say that.
And it still seems like they just are gonna find a way to be the Timberwolves. Like, if it's not the team, it's gonna be the front office. like just can't get right. I don't understand how you get to a point where you are talking about selling a team it's in the news and everything. You're openly talking about it, and you're selling it to someone within the organization, so you already know them. You've been doing business with them, and now you see the team doing better, and you want to all of a sudden back out. Like, did you not see the team last year? I mean, I know they've done a lot better this year, but like, you should have saw the potential. Like, y'all have all the picks. At least y'all have had all these top picks, not on top of the trade. I mean, I just feel like it's a joke at times. Like, bruh, like, make up your mind. Now you gotta have somebody sue you to sell the team. Like, can't get right, bro. Can't get right.
No, yeah, that's fair. I can't even find a word for this one off the top of my head, but for me, I'm gonna go with, come on, man. That's what I'm gonna go with, because kind of like you touched on, right? The Timberwolves haven't been that great as within like the last 10 years, but they've been slowly creeping up there, getting better. And you are literally, when the season started, I remember this happening. They were going to sell a team. A-Rod and his partners were going to come swooping in, and they was going to take the team. This might have even been a season and a half ago. It might have been longer than that. Anyways, they start doing good. They were like the number 1 seed for a good time, and then it sounded like they were just like, you know what? We're doing good. We might be making some more money here. Let's just stay invested in this. When all the paperwork was pretty much filled out, all it needed was a final signature. That's what I'm coming down to in my mind of how I see things go down. And then now they're like, nah, never mind. I'm going to pull the slip back and give you the whoop-de-doo. They basically like Charlie Browned them with that girl to be putting the football out there. Swoop. Yeah, bro. Whoops. Exactly. And now they're going to get sued by them because they pretty much confirmed that they were going to sell it.
Exactly.
These buying parties, these buying parties had all this money invested. They've had all these paperwork filled out, attorneys involved. Literally just, all right, it's mine. Right. And now they're trying to take it back. Like, I feel like that's very sketchy. Yeah. And I would want to sue them too. I don't think A-Rod belongs in the NBA, but I mean, if you got the money, you're a businessman, which he is. Then more power to you, but I think it's funny and it's weird timing for the current owners to be like, nah, we good, we're gonna hold on to it.
Right. Strange.
That's all I got for that, VA.
Bet. And that is the end of Functioning Orange. Appreciate you, AJ. On to our last segment for the day. It's gonna be the Got Beef.
Back again.
And this one is going to be 2024 rap beef. I don't know what it is, if it's the smell of gunpowder in the air, but like it's been shots fired left and right. Right. Like, it's just been major mayday hellfire coming from all sides. We got not only Kendrick beefing with Drake, we got Kendrick beefing with J. Cole, we got Rick Ross beefing with Drake, we got Metro Boomin beefing with Drake, we got people just coming in from all ends. It's been a spectacle to watch, to see. Just a couple days ago, Drake finally dropped a diss. We don't even know if it's AI or not, but it's hot. It's just been, the streets is on fire out here. It's been like 50 Cent versus Ja Rule type of level beef going on right now.
Man, that was iconic.
I was, but this seems to be, bro, I feel like it's going to be there. We're waiting for Kendrick to respond. But, man,
he better get to writing, because he be holding off.
Bruh, I think the line that Drake dropped that's gonna get Kendrick going is the how the heck you the big stepper in a size 7 mid. Like, that, if that don't get you out your feet, if that don't get you out your seat and in the booth, I don't know what.
Ain't no way that man has a size 7.
Bruh. Oh no, he may. I mean, if you're going based on the height, it might be. He might be. I think he's like 5'7". So size 7 mids, maybe. I think he may be an 8 though. He may be an 8. He may be gassing on him. But I mean, not only that, you got Rick Ross being accused of being racist with his lines. Came in talking about some stuff I don't want to repeat, but at the end of the day, it's been very entertaining. Right, he's a light-skinned hater. At the end of the day, it's been very entertaining to see. Well, I mean, what do you think about this beef, AJ?
I think it's childish, man. I get it. Like, I'm all for the beef, right? First off, and I have to throw it out there, my favorite all-time beef song is Ether.
Same.
But it's today's stuff, and I like today's stuff because it was through my era too, right? Like, these rappers we're talking about, like, we were in college listening to them, so
facts.
Or right before, you know, and so it's not the same, but it's interesting, and I feel like it needs it, right? It keeps things fluid, and it keeps people listening to what they're saying. And you end up taking a side, like whether you want to or you don't, right? And I think that some people, I say some rappers or artists, need to understand that this could be detrimental to their career.
Right.
These specific people that are in there that we talk about now are all respectable. I listen to all of them, some more than others. But I will say, the one thing that I want to talk about this is I'm kind of upset about. I like J. Cole. I love his music. Everything he does is great. He says his I don't know if you consider an album, but his mixtape or whatever is might delete later.
Hot.
It was good. But if you had the point of time to go in your mind and say, I might not should have done this, and then you kind of all apologetic, and even the title says it, like the title's saying that you might do this because you thought about it that much, then what are you doing? Rick Ross, there's something about his class with the style of music I get down with. Drake, I mean, it's probably the most hot for the longest period of time. In my mind, he's starting to fall off, but I mean, he's still good, don't get me wrong.
Right.
I'm not really down with the Kendrick, only because he's like here and then he's like, nah, I'm chilling. Like, I'm gonna go chill in Cancun.
For 5
and he
years.
decides I'm back. He's like, oh, I couldn't write. I lost my mind or whatever the heck was going on. Yeah, and it's like, nah, I'm back. So I have a feeling on all of these people, but I am here for the show. I'll tell you that. And it's going to be interesting to see how long it goes. It's just money to be made for them in my mind. I think what honestly this is trying to do is take a bigger hit off of Diddy because he has so much influence in that game. And I think that all these other people, whether they're relevant or not, they're staying relevant with this. But
well, that's the end of that Got Beef segment, AJ. And as always, been a great episode. Appreciate the time. And
yes, sir.
It's all fun and games.
Till
you get caught in the HR.
Yes, sir.
Until next time, appreciate y'all.
Subscribe and like. You know what to do.
Deuces.
Holla.